accountable. That's why I'm saying don't disrespect these women that you don't know are saying, yeah, I made that choice. It was fucked up. I had to deal with the consequences. Like, don't be like,
Yeah,
no,
but
it's okay.
hold
It's
on,
okay. He was a
hold on,
bad man and you were under a
hold
spell.
on.
All three of them are
Is the
responsible.
consequences appropriate? Okay, so listen, I gotta agree with Wise God though, because you don't know what I'm saying. I feel like he got himself into that
That's not the
situation. You
point.
understand? So at the end of the day, as far as like the people putting
They're
the
all responsible.
accusations on him, was he a good person? I don't feel he was actually a good person.
Me
When it
neither.
comes to the charges and stuff like that, do I feel like he did it? I feel like life is extreme for life is extreme for that situation, because like I said, what's like I heard somebody say, yeah, they was into some freaky deaky shit, so they lifestyle was different. So who deems what credible over there in that situation if she felt it was normal? And then somebody else told her that, she like, okay, so let me give you one example because it don't really make no sense. It's like, oh, she mad or your girl mad at you. You really got this, oh, I'm dominant, this BDSM. You don't get mad at me, you get in the corner. She like, no, I don't want to do this shit today. I'm done. I don't care. You understand what I'm saying? And he take her straight up
Yeah,
like
and
that. And at the in the midst of it, she's like, no, no, no. But then she's like, yes, 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 after the no. But she really was like, no. But at the end of the day, look, check this out. It was more like, oh, yeah, he took me at first, but we made love. At the end of the day, you can't say she lying. You get what I'm saying? She got
Her word
took
doesn't
because
matter though.
she
It
was
doesn't matter
angry.
anymore because he said no. That's what the justification is.
but you know, and I have to
Yeah, but
realize
at
some
the end of
about
the day,
Nature
that's
Boy
not
too.
no life
Like
sentence.
eventually,
So if
I have
that's
to
not a hold on,
realize
hold on. If
like
that's not a life sentence, then what's the real charges? The real charges is this though.
He's a cult
If
leader
that's
and
not a life
a
sentence worth, if that's but look, if
narcissist.
that's not a life
Is the
sentence,
judge's
then
word.
women need to be held account. Women need to be held accountable and put that judgment on her. She need to do the 10 years then. You understand what I'm saying?
I
For
agree.
lying to
I
the
agree. I
courts
think
That's
the
for
crazy.
criminal
under
act in this,
contempt.
if we're gonna use the justice system, it is a criminal act to I won't even get into that. What were you trying to say? Why not?
If
And then I
she
wanted to
said
say
she
something
lied,
really
she
no,
quick.
I
need to
was
go
just
to
gonna
jail.
say
That's contempt of court.
It's a
I had to
crime.
realize eventually when dealing with Nature Boy, you know, and even not even just him, a lot of people in a lot of the motherfuckers in the spiritual conscious community, they're not even spiritual. They really just suffering from mental health issues. Like
Facts.
Nature Boy got some serious mental health conditions, and I'm not even joking. I
I
mean this
agree.
like literally. Like he's
I feel
supposed
like
to be
we
on
all
medic.
do.
He
No, I
no,
don't.
like he's supposed to be on medication, like and like on you feel in them Telegram group chats we was in. I saw that nigga Joe like go through like 12 different emotions within like 30 minutes. Super happy and all loving
So is
to
my baby niece. Is she bipolar or is she just experiencing
No,
human emotions
but
based
that's a
on
level of
She's a
immaturity
kid.
that's
She's a
being displayed.
child.
Right.
yeah,
She's
but
yeah,
He's
she's
a
okay?
grown
justified.
That
man.
because
yeah,
that
she
proves the
justified.
point
So
of the
he's
behavior
he
earlier. Yeah.
he pushing
Hmm.
40 or probably over 40, and you know it's like he had the mind of a child. My thing is like
And
I
he's
seen the nigga
hmm.
Joe worship four different gods in that Telegram group chat. That nigga said a prayer to Jesus. He laid out his prayer rug and made salat to Allah. He worshipped this female god called Malia Lucia, and that nigga
Yeah.
say AI is the creator god.
Okay, why
So
not?
and
Did
if Doc,
he also
But
though make
listen, I'm
music?
gonna be honest
Hold
with
on,
you.
question for you. Did he also make music? You just talked about all these prayers and stuff. I agree with you. First of all, I don't. One, I think all of us have issues, but I want to say this. He's all over the place with the prayers and stuff. To me, sounds like all
I
right.
don't
He's
think
trying to
he's
figure
crazy
things.
for
Hold
that
on, hold
part.
on. He's
no,
trying to
Why
figure things out. But has he ever made music talking about killing each other? Does he ever do anything salacious that gets promoted and elevated in this industry where you become millionaires? So far, you told me about how he's jumping from religion to religion. So he's trying to figure out life. Like,
No,
but
he is
there's,
making
No, you're
hold
right.
on,
videos of
hold
him
on,
telling
Warren.
You're
people,
right.
get on the
Hold
ground.
You're
on.
right,
First
goddess.
of all,
I'm your
all of you guys
God.
need to understand this. Once you are over a certain
Shit worse than
age,
a rap song.
you cannot revoke accountability when it serves your agenda. Self and full total accountability across the board. And I'll just say this on that note, because Dakula, I like talking to you because I know you have watched this closely, but there is videos, and somebody even said it in the comments, where Zoka literally is taking accountability for her actions as the woman that's making that choice and suffering whatever consequences for whatever reason, and that's her business. So, and I still agree with you though that he's still in part responsible for that, because as the role you want to play of leader, just like in my company, somebody fucks up, I fuck up. Like, I don't get to walk away then and be like, oh, that no, I dropped the ball somewhere in not giving them the support or making sure they're the right person for the role or whatever. But what I'm trying to also point out here is why how deep it is that she's even the one taking more accountability and responsibility for her actions than we allow. And y'all want to reduce her down to like a Flute level of just no comprehension. She was under a spell, zombie, when she's actually being impeccable right now and saying, I fucked up, and facing the scrutiny and opinions of everyone as somebody should. And that's an honorable thing, not a thing to be like, oh, no, she didn't know anything. He was the most powerful. No, she's
That's
doing
one
the
way to
right
look
thing.
at
She's
it.
being a grown woman. She made a mistake like everyone else, and she's owning her shit.
That's one way to look at it, or
Right.
you can look
So
at it from the perspective that she's taking accountability to throw off blame from her man, her God, her
But
husband,
now we're
right? So she's gonna take.
speculating.
No, because what you said is speculation as well. I mean, it could be both
I'm
sides, and
telling the
she could be
truth,
taking
Dakula. It's
accountability.
not speculation. The truth is,
Hold
she
on.
picked it up, made the choice to drink it, put
Yeah,
it in
but
her body, and it had
But but but
results.
but Nature Boy had total control. So at the moment in which he saw her drinking, he could be like, "No, stop! Like that's gonna hurt the baby," and
And
she would
that's
have
his
stopped,
problem.
right? So Nature Boy, Zoka, and Solar are responsible for that baby's unalivement, right? Solar should have been a man and took Zoka out of that situation, went to a doctor. Nature Boy, being the leader, he could have went and took Zoka to get prenatal checks and sonograms to
Agreed.
make sure that the baby was healthy, breathing right,
And
the
she made the
placenta was
decision to
growing.
do whatever she wanted, influenced by what. But
But
I have a question for you on the
but she's in a
spell
whole nother.
thing.
Yes.
Solar is out of this, out of the Nature Boy spell, right?
No, he's not. He thinks he's
I
Nature
agree.
Boy.
I agree with that too. I agree with that too. But he's in a different spell. Let's say that he's not in that
Yes.
world. He's in some other spell. So what is this spell? Because it seems to be having this. I agree with him. I believe he's. There's a lot of people very obsessed, but his is interesting because he literally has had a baby with Nature Boy's accuser and Nature Boy's ex-wife slash baby mama. Like, doesn't sound like healing or some weird shit. But
No, it's
anyways,
not. Yeah. So,
on that note, though, I want to go back to, because this happened in TKO's panel, and we were trying to talk to Solar about like, but where's your accountability? Where's your accountability? Because Solar and a lot of people have the narrative of my only thing I did wrong, only thing is not do something when he was doing something wrong.
he Solar is lying out of his ass, and the spell that he's underneath right now, he thinks he's a billionaire, and he's living in Shaka's house.
I don't
Eating
know.
off Shaka's plate. You know what I
I don't
mean?
know any
So
of that.
so I hold I hold him accountable every time I go live. I
Good.
always make sure that people are aware that he's a deadbeat. He's choosing not to work. He's choosing not to make money. He chose to go try to sell drugs and fly freaking marijuana from the California airport to London and and then got caught up on on federal felony charges. He made those choices. He thinks that he taught Nature Boy the 369, the three god shit. He's lying. You know what I mean? So he's still definitely underneath his spell. I agree with you completely. But where we diverge paths is this idea that Nature Boy is just completely innocent. And
No,
then
no,
you made
no.
it the point like about
Just
what
innocent of the crimes he
hold on.
was convicted of, Jakulu. I have to
Yeah,
clarify.
I believe that he did the crime that he's convicted of. But to your point, yes, Janae has said things that seem sus. But I also heard Nature Boy, and this is why, shoot, I think you should go look at older videos of Nature Boy
Oh, I have.
instead of what he has told you recently, because he has talked
Oh, I
about
have. You'd be
beating
surprised how
niggas' asses to a pulp.
I've seen it.
Musa has Hold on. Yes, Musa has threatened to whoop my ass and then rape me. Like there's been other dudes that have been doing
You're
that
saying to
within his club.
you?
Yeah. Obviously he's too weak to do
Oh
it,
yeah,
but that's
Musa
the shit
like
that he
boys.
threatened.
And
Musa,
are you
he
blaming that
like
on
boys.
Nature Boy or Musa being a grown ass man doing that?
He was empowered and had a battery in his bag by Nature Boy because Nature Boy was saying the same stuff to Young Pharaoh, to Yada, to Brother Polite, all the people that Nature Boy was going at and going against. He was claiming to whoop their ass and do all this other stuff. And I heard literally Nature Boy online, and I have the videos of him saying that he likes to take the cootie.
Yeah, I
But
heard
he
him
likes to
say that
take
shit
it.
too. But I know a lot of women. I know a lot. I done dealt with a lot of
I'll
women that
reserve
want me
my
to.
thoughts on the truth around that,
You
but go
feel me?
ahead. Go
Like
ahead. Wax.
I done dealt with a lot of women that that play hard to get, and that's what they want you. They want you to kind of not grape them, but take it and be a little aggressive.
But hold
That turn
on.
them
But
on. I done
see,
had a few of those type of females.
now hold
And
on.
I'll
Now
say
wait,
as a
wait, wait.
woman, let me just
Was
say
he
this because it's
accused?
important to say this as a woman. You're absolutely right. Why not? Since everyone wants to act like when they go home
But hold on,
that we're not doing
real quick
that.
though, real quick though.
I want to finish this and then I'm gonna give you the floor. But it's important because they're gonna chop and say these things and y'all don't understand what's happening for from the sake of you as well, but that's very true. That is very, very true. It's not from a forced though place. This is and I'll leave it at that. Go ahead,
I
Micah.
totally understand those different sexual fanatical, preferences that people have. I understand that. Now, you talked about what he was convicted of. For my sake, could you refresh us and let me know what
Yes.
was he convicted of?
Okay, so well, and Jakulu, maybe
Grape,
you can if
yeah,
I'm off.
grape,
Uh-huh.
grape, false imprisonment,
Mm-hmm.
and electronic dissemination of revenge
Revenge
porn.
porn.
Okay,
Wait,
so let's start with
electronic dissemination means what?
Yeah,
meaning that he
means
put
that
it
he
out on
posted
multiple
it.
platforms. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that he
So
posted it without her
so
permission.
so now let's deal with the latter first,
Okay,
right?
let's do it.
If she says I didn't want that out,
Mm-hmm.
are we gonna say she's lying about that? Like if
No,
she
no,
didn't,
no.
if she
If
Hell
she
yeah,
said
she
that,
lying. Hell yeah,
why
she
would she
lying
be lying? But
because
can I ask you a question? If she also used to partake in voluntarily putting those kind of videos
yeah,
out on Twitter and
if
then coming
a
into
woman
these
could
Bigo lives and
a
when
woman
people
could be
troll
consensual,
her,
a woman
I
could be
just want to say, let me
consensual.
just say this, and then I want to hear your questions because I like your questions. But because this is the reality. When people trolled her on here about, oh, you're pussy dry, all the kind of stuff, she wanted to fight the fight and tell everyone, that's normal, blah blah blah. If she was condoning this and enjoying the attention from it, and then they break up and I don't know if there was consent or not, but there was no verbal, don't continue to do this. Would you say your perception of being guilty of that would change?
Now, maybe so, but
Okay.
my point in asking the question is that Kulu just made a good point. He says the second the woman says no, anything you do after that is what it is. Even if she decided to say yes and she said no afterwards, that's
Mm-hmm.
still a crime if you decide not to take that down. So regardless of whatever, that's we could leave that in the court of law where her words
But
is
he
going to
took
reign.
it down the minute it was
No,
brought
it
to his
was up. It
attention.
was up. No, it was up for a minute. So my
yeah.
point is that
The
wait.
thing is
Hold
this.
on, why not? Real quick, gang. Let me just
What
land
do you
this on
mean it
this,
was
gang.
up for a minute?
Yeah, it was up for days, if not
Yeah,
weeks,
it was up.
until
It
she
was
made that
up.
report.
Absolutely. So now
Oh,
my
okay. You
point
guys are
is,
talking about that, but I'm talking about the context of if this was a continued effort, this wasn't a first time
I'm
ever
saying, but
they broke
even
up
if
and then
she,
she responded that
regardless,
way.
but you cannot say because she was consensual in the past that means that she's consensual now. If
No,
she
that's not
says
what
that,
I'm saying. Hear me out. What I'm saying is, if it's revenge porn, that means I'm revenging. You broke up with me. I'm about to do you fucking dirty and put your pussy on the internet. If it
well,
wasn't
now let's
that
go there. Now
revenge.
let's go there. Let's go there because I've
Okay.
heard him before she came there. He was talking about her, how she's untrustworthy, and she's this and she's that, and so on and so forth. And then when she got there, and he had her go through this whole little, a legal test where he had her say these different things on camera to get
Mhm.
her to almost as if if she is being consensual to these spaces. What he did not take into account is that the case that's built against him is that he's a cult leader. And as a cult leader, to Kulu's point, they're under his jurisdiction. So all
Agreed.
of their behavior and responsibilities is on him. So it's easy to argue threat, stress, and coercion in the court of law because of what his position is. So my point is that when you say he's not guilty, by the laws of the technicalities of law, he
You're
is
right. You're right.
100% guilty.
You're right. You're right.
So,
You're right. Let me
and
reframe
then
this because
last
I
point, he's
understand
in
that.
Atlanta, Georgia, Shu. He's in Atlanta, Georgia. So
And
their
I've learned,
laws
I've
are
come to this
totally
understanding
different.
too. I
All
want to
right.
say this then, thank you, because you're absolutely right. From a technicality, and I understand now the confusion, destruction they put in this system to be able to make this happen. From a
Exactly.
technical standpoint, yes, he is, of course.
Exactly.
But you know what I mean when I say it, for the
I do know what you
actual
mean,
truth of
but
the
but
crime.
I understand that. But that's why I mentioned universal morale and law
But
and karmatic
this the
justice.
thing though.
I agree.
Like when we dealing with if a woman says no, you feel me? Anything you do after that, that's considered SA. Now let's just say in a hypothetical situation, a man is married to his woman, and he say, "Babe, you
It's
gonna
great,
give me
but
some tonight?" He say, "Babe, you gonna give me some tonight?" And she say, "No, I don't want to have sex," with a smirk on her face. And then you get in the bed and she under the covers naked. She don't, only time she can sleep naked is when it's time to have
But
sex.
you already
And
gave
so
a
you
caveat
that
yes,
of
that
that's
what
man
you was
great.
gonna
already know
say.
what that means. That the husband
That's
already
great,
know what
Buena.
that means.
But
But
No, but
by
he
technically,
gave
law,
a
law
caveat
and
for
but
a
hold on,
reason.
practicality, sure.
but hold on
He
real
gave a
quick. But
Yeah.
caveat for a
technically,
reason.
hold on real quick. But technically, by law, if she says no, even if you go in there and she let you, then that's SA. So
Yeah.
I can see, it's a real thin line.
Yeah.
But on top of that, the
If
thing
she
with
go to the
Natiri, I'm
police
gonna
and
just
say
say this.
that, then you guilty, nigga. That's what that means.
That's
So
true.
look, I'm
Man,
now the thing with Natiri, G, like from my perspective, you know, when I from what I was seeing, Natiri was down with the shits. Nigga, he didn't put her out. She
Yeah, she
came
was
back
down.
That
4 5 times.
don't matter
Matter of
though.
fact, before the time she left him, she went to motherfucking King Musa, was selling
Yeah.
pussy in
And
Chicago.
she
She
went to
Selling
came to
pussy
and
in
she
the
Chicago.
went
rack.
yeah,
I
she
And
bought
went
the
to
she came to
motherfucker
Yada,
Chicago. So look, then
$150.
she
Tiki El
went back to
Capone.
him. So look, so real quick, then she went back to him on her own merit. And she was down with everything. She know the ropes. That ain't her first rodeo with him. My point, when it got abusive and he was, yo, smack that bitch. Yo, smack that nigga. She was the main one, you feel me, smacking the shit out of
No,
motherfuckers
why
and that
not? You
motherfucker.
missing the key
And
point.
so
You
now
missing the
look
key
though,
part, gang.
from my
You missing
hold
the key
on,
part.
I'm finna be done right here. Now, from my perspective, she ain't have a problem until it was her turn to get smacked. When Zoka cracked her ass and Efferu on my mama, like, you feel me? One of them has smacked the shit out and she got mad. She got mad as hell, and that's when she was like, So it was
All
okay
that
when
could
she
be
was
true,
smacking
gang.
motherfuckers and shit.
All that could be true.
Soon as he ordered one of their ass, yo, smack her, she out of line. They
But
bah! Now she get mad and
hold on. You
want to
missing the key
leave and
point.
he grade me. Man, watch out.
You missing the key
Like we
point,
see
bro.
what's going
You
on.
missing the key
Yeah.
point, bro. Two things here, right? Quickly. For one, prior to her coming back, she was just on the panel with all of the ex members talking about their negative experiences and how he was so bad and terrible and so on and so forth. Which is why he did the live after that, talking about, she's untrustworthy. So then when she popped up, this is the part that I think that you missing. She had the intention all along to help take this nigga down because she felt that his atrocities were so great that they had to conspire against him. So when we talk about the technicalities of law, regardless if you want to agree with it or not, especially in the state in which he was being prosecuted, he's guilty for all that they said that he did. Period,
But
point blank. And the extent
Now
of the law that was,
the point I was trying to illustrate is from my perspective, she didn't have a problem until she got her ass slapped.
but
but
Before
why
she
not?
always had a problem,
before
nigga.
she
She
got
came in
slapped, she
there.
was
She
cool.
came in there on a mission to take this nigga down, thug. That's what I'm telling you.
you think so? Like consciously?
But
One
even
hundred
if
percent.
that's the case,
If you look at the series of events that unfolded prior to her coming back, just weeks, if so, before she came back, she was on the panel with all of the ex members, and they was talking about their situations and experience and how terrible he was and how he needs to get taken down. Right.
Mhm.
Next thing you know, she's over there. This is right around the same time he brought the transsexual over there and all of this type of shit. Right.
Mhm.
So when she get there, he had her go live and pretty much, publicly express that she's there on her own will type shit, right?
Mhm.
And an attempt to say that, hey, she came here on her own, anything that happened is on her own volition. This is some of the evidence they was trying to present in trial, right?
Mhm.
But when you are up against a cult leadership type of indictment, they not trying to hear none of that shit. Because now they're gonna build a character file on you, and they're gonna go through all of the videos that you posted in the past and the things that you've done to show that you are mastered the art of persuasion and spells or manipulation or the ability to get these people to go bend to your will. So
Mhm.
regardless of whatever he was trying to argue, he was going to be convicted of that because of the amount of evidence that was put against him. That's the part that's not missing. And she was key to that because she went in and infiltrated that nigga, and he thought that he was doing something when he dropped a little sex tape shit. And when he then deleted when she requested it, they gave her all the ammunition she needed to be able to file for the trial that she did. And then now all of the other testimonies became
Right.
prevalent,
So
and
I
now
don't
he was
know
found
about the
guilty.
false imprisonment or the corn, right? But when it
Uh-huh.
comes to the topic of grape, right? And shoot, no disrespect to you or your man or boyfriend, but if you and I was having sex,
I don't
right?
have a man or
And
boyfriend.
all right, so like if you and I was having sex and we was getting it down, and you say no one time, stop, and I continue to go, and let's just say you allow it to happen, by law, that's can still considered grape, and I can get locked up for however many
By law.
years
Yes.
by law. And
But
if
the
you went to
truth,
the
but
law,
the truth,
Mhm.
let me say this. If you were my man and that exact thing happened,
mhm,
would I do that? Only if I didn't give a
probably
fuck
not.
about you because I knew by law that not true law, this man's law system that I knew they'd come and take you and I get back and it feels so good to destroy you because
But
I'm
that's the
hurt and
part
I
of
want to
the
hurt you.
injustices
Yeah.
that you're talking about, Shu. That's the part of the injustice that you're talking about is that a woman can do that. Even if it's not,
Yes.
morally right, she can go to the law and say,
Yes.
I said no, and he persisted. And just
Yes.
off of that alone and her own personal witness testimony as the victim itself, he can be convicted to the fullest extent according to that
Yes.
state's laws,
Yeah.
etc.
It
That's
don't
what
matter her
Kulu was trying to
malice. It
say.
don't matter her character. I mean,
It
Yes.
she
don't
could be a
matter. So
prostitute.
the point is that if we this is why I'm glad you was able to concur and say that by the technicality of the law. Now when we
I
talk
agree.
about false imprisonment, when we talk about false imprisonment, this goes back to the idea of cult leader and him and the things that he was doing on video that they had they used
Sure.
as evidence to say that he was getting these people and convincing them to stay there. You know what I'm saying? That and
Right.
if I could prove that in the court of law based off of this the prosecution's own words himself, I could convict him. This is
But can
just
I see
law
something?
101.
Oh, I can't wait till we watch the prosecution thing. But how is a system able to prove that when Aya there were multiple accounts from the people there? She first of all, it's the egregiousness of
But you
false
going back into
imprisonment when you're
morality though,
getting
Well,
Shu.
kicked
so I
out.
watched
There's
the trial.
Uber.
But
I,
Shu,
I
you
There's
going
literal
posted.
back
proof.
into but
Well,
Shu,
and
you
it's
going back
more.
into morality now, and that's not what the
Okay.
common. If she says what she says, and she files a police report, and she presses charges, and she seeks the fullest extent of persecution, which is
Mhm.
what she did, right? And then they built the character trial, and it opened up a whole case on him being a cult leader. It made the Atlanta news, and all of this thing now becomes a large public case. So
Mhm.
in the state of that he was in, you got to take all of this into account from a morale standpoint. Yeah, okay, they was there. They said that it was all consensual. They can't speak for the victim.
See, but here's the thing,
No,
right? So I have.
I'm talking about the specific part. Like Aya can speak for I got her the Uber. I told her to leave. Directly conflicts to you were falsely held against your will when you were literally the one getting kicked out, getting pushed out. It's the direct
Yeah.
opposite.
But shoot, did
If
you
they
watch the
could find
actual
video
court
footage
hearing?
of him saying anything that alludes to the fact that he's keeping these people there, that's all they got. And I'm telling you, when you're dealing with law and you got a
That's the
jury,
thing. The man's
So the
law.
thing, the
so
Yes,
so
thing
so
Shoot,
is,
it's
so
shoot,
correct.
did you watch the court
I,
hearing?
I
Like
want
the
to, I
actual
want
court
to,
hearing?
The whole
I just
thing,
want to say
Jakun.
one
So,
thing.
so
When we dealing with, I'm gonna be real quick too, Kulu. when we dealing with the reason he lost, the reason he got that much time because he blew trial. He listened to
And he
motherfucking
and he
Juju and
represented himself
Solar.
too.
He listened to them niggas
Even
and they
though the
tried to
judge,
represent him. And you feel me? He ain't had a right defense. If he would have had the right attorney, the right defense, he would have. Man, he'd be out right now. But
But
he
didn't he
blew
represent himself
trial.
though? Why not?
No. He had a lawyer, but the lawyer was trash. I mean,
Yeah, the
so as
lawyer
I'm
was
unbiased,
trash, but like
yeah,
they had a plans for another lawyer, and I think Solar and Juju man was telling them to go with this lawyer, and you gonna get out, Baba
yeah, they
or Chief
flipped.
or whatever.
and,
So
Yeah,
and
so
also the
basically,
CDC guidelines, the fact that the judge had COVID and he refused to, like any human should, be in the same close
You talking
vicinity
about
as
morale though.
somebody
You
with
talking
yeah, but
about
yeah.
let's
So
not
morale.
forget
coronavirus.
look,
though. Yeah, but
the
Nature
thing is,
Boy could have took a
so
plea.
basically, so look, so
He
look,
had
We'll
so
to
talk
take
so
a
about
plea
He
that. We'll
release.
talk about
definitely,
that,
hey,
Julie.
hey,
We'll talk
Kulu,
about that next.
hey,
he
Kulu,
blew.
that's hella right
Look,
right there. And he
look,
chose
he
not to. He would have
Wait,
got
let
20
let
years
why not
sentence.
finish this
He'll be
thought? Because
out
I
right
want to
now.
talk to you guys about this. I want to talk about the
yeah.
should he have taken it and the mindset behind that.
Yeah, so he blew his trial. That's why they gave him life, you feel me, plus 10. But at the same time, like if he would have had the right, defense, the right lawyer, and not even a real expensive lawyer, because it's evidence as we can clearly see that you feel me, he not guilty. But like the thing is, I think they're gonna make him do 10, 20.
He
You
needs
feel
like
me?
a
At least
young thug
I
type of
think
war.
he
He
gonna
because
Well,
he
his
gonna get he
crimes
gonna
were
sit
being a
down for at least
narcissist and a cult leader. That's truly what she said. She
he
so
used those
go
but we're all
words.
so
Bro,
missing
he
what
look,
in
actually
Georgia.
happened.
Bro,
I'm
he
done
in
right here. So
Georgia,
look,
bro.
And
He in
Georgia.
Georgia,
Yeah.
bro.
But wait a
look,
minute,
he
wait a
gonna
minute.
be
Doesn't this go
he
against
gonna
the video y'all was talking about earlier about believers
Mm.
in court and lawyers and having the lawyer make sure? Now y'all want to talk
You
look,
about
Don't
getting
wanna
rid
do
of the
talk?
that. Hey,
lawyer.
Happy, they ain't ready. Don't do that.
look,
No,
Don't do
but
real
that.
we're
quick.
also
So
forgetting.
when we
That
dealing
really-
with, look, G, when we dealing, so they gonna make him sit down for 10, maybe 20. I don't think he
Man,
gonna
you
be in there for the
tripping,
rest of
Longer
his
boy.
than
life
that, bro.
because he
Longer
gonna
than
beat it
that.
on.
He's done.
He gonna
Bro,
beat
he
it on.
in
Look,
Georgia,
look,
bro. You
Bro, he
tweaking,
has
he
other
bro.
gonna beat
charges
it.
too, though.
Look, real
All
quick.
because
He
of
gonna.
contraband.
I'm telling you, save this file. He gonna beat it on appeal, but he gonna sit down for some years. And they can't. And they know his character, so the system already don't like him. So of course, you feel me,
No,
they're gonna play around with him, go through the loopholes to keep him in there.
no,
And you feel
bro.
me, I feel like that's what's gonna happen. But as
The
far as a
only
code,
way he could get out is if she rescind her on a record. She rescind her statement. That's the only way he getting out because that's their key witness to this whole you
And
did,
she's not doing
and it
that.
is from, and she's not doing that.
That would be a
So
very hard
so
thing to do.
so everything else is that he's been charged with is built on his own doings, the shit
Mhm.
that he said publicly. So they using her case to build off these other charges. You know what I mean?
No,
And those other charges are gonna stick.
now look,
It's
if they
those
make
other
him do 10,
charges.
20 years off that and she recant her statement, can he sue the state and get
yes,
millions off that?
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
he
he
Oh,
could
could.
sue.
all
Of
right.
course he could
If,
sue.
but here's the
That's
thing,
why
right?
she not gonna do that shit. Boy, your ass tweaking.
Yeah, but yeah. But
Let's
here's the thing,
talk
right?
7 years now.
Is during the trial, and Shu seen it, as I have it all posted on my channel. All the witnesses on both sides,
Mhm.
the prosecutors painted the narrative via using the cult leader stuff to
Exactly.
where they painted to where like is Nature Boy's witnesses couldn't actually give authentic
True.
Because of what, Kulu?
like
Because of what,
witnesses.
Yeah, he
Very
Kulu?
had
true.
Juju up there
Yes,
stuttering.
because he's underneath the spell. He's
Quite
underneath his influence.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. So
true.
so so
Okay, that
everything
I'll
is
give
null
you.
and void.
That I'll give you.
if Velvet wasn't there, if True didn't testify against him, he may have got off. He may have won the
Exactly.
trial.
Exactly.
But the
So
fact that
let's
Exactly.
True
talk about
got
Because
let's
the
talk
because
about
what?
this.
Hold on,
Who put the
Kulu.
nail in the
Kulu.
Yeah,
coffin?
Kulu. Kulu.
And
Chief
he a
brought
Wait,
up.
wait,
bitch,
hold on.
man.
Hold on though, Kulu. That their testimony held more weight because they are considered and viewed by the jury and the judge as those who escaped that spell,
Victims.
that
Exactly.
XYZ. So now their witness testimony holds more weight. You see what I'm
Yes,
saying?
for
And
sure.
Kulu absolutely correct. If they didn't have those two witness testimonies,
Agree.
he probably would have got off. Or at least
So
probably not got life. You feel me?
so Wise brought up a point earlier when he talked about predatory nature,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when we talk about this gentleman, everyone talks about the knowledge he had and how wise he was and how smart he
They
was.
do.
But
Who?
but but no, like you said, he gave me this knowledge of getting out of my job and
I've
all this
only
Yeah,
stuff.
you
heard
tripping.
myself
You
say it.
tripping.
I'm
Right, right,
usually
right.
combating
That-
everyone talking about how horrible he
right,
is.
right, right. Because yeah. So for me, I realized this: you can't be that smart and that wise if you don't know the system you're up against. You can't be.
Uh, okay, let me
Like
ask you
no.
guys, because
I'll
you're
give you an
touching on
example.
something bigger.
Right.
What about other kind of Black political activists that have kind of faced the
Political
same
prisoners.
fate?
Political
Yeah,
prisoners.
thank you.
But that's
What would
not.
you
But
say to that?
but we cannot
No.
compare those. Why? And
We
Kulu
can't
made this
compare.
point. Kulu made this point earlier. He said, when you are not pretty much practicing what you preach, now you put yourself in a state of falsehood. Now, in the court of law, you could be deemed as someone who is manipulative, someone who is
But that's
psychotic,
not
so on and so
Scam,
forth.
But
Right?
but but
A
but
a
shoot,
scammer.
heckler.
But
like
hold
for
on,
example,
look,
right?
look.
Oh my bad.
All right, no, my bad, Kulu. Go ahead.
So like why not, right? He's
Mhm.
polygamous, he's spiritual, he teaches people. I'm polygamous with my wife. I have my
Mhm.
own knowledge. We're spiritual. I don't know about heavy or like a war or wise on the panel, but we're not locked up, and we are
Yes,
basically, if not doing the
and
similar or
God
or
forbid.
or aligned things just like that,
And
right?
What's
So
the difference, Kulu?
the difference is that he had the wrong people around him and he made choices that put him in that situation. We're more intelligent not to do that shit, especially on
Right
live
now.
But
You
24/7.
guys
Kulu,
aren't
Kulu,
Right
Kulu,
perfect.
now,
Kulu, Kulu,
forever,
Kulu, Kulu, Kulu. The
forever.
people are victims. He put himself in that situation.
Exactly.
And that I
Facts.
agree with that. I will say this though, nobody's perfect, and I rebuke and God forbid, and that's why I talk like this, that never happens to any of you, but it could. Don't piss off a woman and let her get in her feelings, and then right timing, alignment,
That's
and,
it.
and cause and effect. You better
That's
be
what
Now
I
hold
careful
on
with
now,
that.
and
shoe.
Like,
Now hold
that's what
on,
I
shoe.
wanted to say. I
But shoe,
definitely
don't do
think
that, shoe,
somebody.
because you
In fact,
contradicting yourself
I'm
now,
pretty
shoe.
sure
how?
somebody. I'm pretty sure that nigga got magic on him. Like Nature Boy pissed off a lot of
Probably, and
powerful witches. He pissed off a lot
probably.
of powerful witches, G. And
But
I
it
know a witch.
doesn't excuse this side of the behavior
But
that
shoe, you
again.
contradicting
Go
yourself
ahead, go
now.
ahead, go ahead. I want to hear why.
You now just justify. You say don't piss off a woman because of she has this XYZ
I'm saying
powers.
it in just like this is what we get to do
But
if we
but
get in
that's
our
not
feelings.
unjust. That's not
Um,
unjust. That's in spite, right?
no.
So
I was joking and saying that like
okay,
don't
okay.
you guys can be amazing men and more intelligent than him. I'm saying, but
If the
don't
law
fall
had
into don't
morale,
run into an Atiri
if the law,
Yeah,
who
but
you
we're not gonna
was
get in a
attract it
morale,
though.
feeling.
Shoot.
if the law was morale, the law would have said this is out of spite. Anybody with a keen eye can see this is out of spite. But when you're
But
dealing with the technicality of law, this is what, and then the state in which he's being prosecuted, now he fucked himself over.
I
Because if you
agree.
remember this series of events that led before he even went to Atlanta, Hawaii kicked his ass out. The indigenous folks said, we don't want your ass there, right? He got kicked out of the spot down there wherever he was at, because they didn't want him there. He had already been, extradited before. So, and then all of these other things associated. So this is why I say, if we're dealing with universal morale, he's absolutely guilty. If you want to add this spirit of morale to basic law, so to speak, then we can say, yeah, she did these things out of spite, and he could definitely get off on that. This is why I hold the position that his ass is sitting right where the fuck he's supposed to be,
I
because his
agree
ass
with
is
that.
goofy.
Not through he did the crime. I agree that we're all of our asses is sitting exactly where we're supposed to be
Hey,
right here, right
and
now.
there you go,
Um,
See, like
free
from
in
that
my goddamn
when we dealing
house
with the
with a robe
spiritual
on,
shit, be
bitch.
like Nature Boy pissed off a lot of women. He had a great deal of powerful women mad at him, and witches too. You feel me? Magic on him. She told me she did, and I'm like, if
That juice in the
like
kitchen.
the man was accumulating a lot of negative energy. Period.
Exactly. That's
You feel me?
karmatic
So
energy,
it's
right,
like.
Chief? Why not?
see,
I'm not debating
but we're
that at all.
forgetting
And
one
it's
major
no
rule
excuse.
though.
It's
Why
no
not?
excuse, you feel me, for anything. But I'm just saying, like,
Hold on, give me 1 second. Hold on.
like when we dealing with psychology, like when I was like, he worshiping 4 different gods, and I'm looking
Mhm.
at his emotional state to see what state of mind the nigga in. The man, Joe, like, and I can see he going through a spiritual psychosis. and I can see it's the same shit he was going through when he was out, but it's more visible now. Like
Why not you
he'll be
tweaking, gang? Why not you?
yo,
You said it in the past. He had
look, that's
opened
what
up these spells that he had started to summon these spells and these demons, and he had already opened up this portal. And this is the price that he pays for doing what he did with his spiritual
yeah,
self, if you will.
because look, I was just,
Am I
like
right?
but to be exact, you feel me? You got what you got a demon, right? And the Ars Goetia, the Lemegeton, that's the 72 lesser keys of Solomon. He bound
Did you
72
not tell
demons.
me that he
You got
told you that
Going
he
over my
had put a
head.
spell on them?
so look, and
After you finish that, I
demonology,
have two topics
look,
around I want to ask you guys.
Chief,
look,
chief,
so
chief. Did you
Solomon
not
bound
say that he
72
told
demons.
you?
Check this out, Shu. Solomon bound 72 demons. That curriculum is known as the Ars Goetia. You feel me? You feel me? That's a type of demonology. Now, dealing with the 72 demons Solomon bound, you got the 68th demon. His name is Elagos.
Come
This
on
is
now,
the
talk
demon
about
of
it.
homosexuality,
Talk about it.
arrogance,
Talk about it.
a lot of characteristics that you see within Eligio. Now,
Come on now.
Eligos is spelled Eligio. And I just made that observation. I'm like, holy shit. Cause I
Now
fuck
why
with
not? Now why
demonology,
not? Now why
I'm
not?
well versed in that shit.
Now why
And
not?
so yeah,
Did he not
Eligos
tell
and
you
Eligio the same person. And I'm
that?
like, maybe he summoned that spirit or something. I don't know what he was doing.
Okay, just quick
Hey, you
question,
want to
gang. Just
know?
quick
Hey, you
question.
Okay,
want
go
to
ahead
know?
and
Well,
Quick
then
hold on.
question.
and
Let
then
me
I'm
ask you a question. Hold on. Why before you say that, right? See, Malachi and them, they was doing that same little shit. Though, like it's a certain thing when you bring up that Solomon, right? It's a something about Solomon wrote that confession, right? And when Solomon wrote that confession, Malachi wrote that confession. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like Nature Boy was trying to follow something like that, but do his own thing. You get what I mean? So when you go to messing with them other side community, the alphabet boys, and when you in there, got the white boy in there, and you screaming at the white boy and doing all that on camera, and you acting like they ain't gonna
their
come.
system.
Now I feel
That's
like
true.
that's you doing
That's
too
my
much. You get
point,
what I'm
though.
saying? So
Hey,
when I
War.
go
True,
That's
back
my
to
true.
point,
saying
War.
that he put himself in that situation, that
Don't
man knew what
argue
we
that.
all grown men up here, bro. We all grown men and women
And
up here,
women,
bro.
grown men
We know
and
Now
better.
hold
women.
on. Now hold
Yeah,
on. Watch this,
and
War.
woman.
Hey, War. Hey, War. Watch
Peace.
this, War. Why not?
Wait, before you
Didn't
ask that
War?
wise God, I just want to say this because I want to get these two things in and I don't want to forget. I want to, oh, let me change the way I'm going to ask this now that I've come to this new level of understanding. So, about the 7 years, how do I say this? So I agree with you guys on the I agree with you guys got on a technicality on the legal side. But I absolutely unequivocally, morally, and just what we all know to be true, still stand firm